Up, all my people? It is your boy. When we come back, let me start over again. What is up, my anime fighters? It is your god, back here with a new video for all of you. And today's video is gonna be a new series. And you guys are like, what? You haven't even finished What If Naruto Was a Quiet Kid? I know, it's just that we hit 131. It's like every time I look at the subscribers, and then every time I say I wanted a goal, you guys just hit it right away. So, I would like to give you guys the satisfaction of a new video. This one will be about high school DxD. And you guys are wondering, is it going to be what if Issei this, Issei that? No. It's going to be what if Goku was in high school DxD. You guys are wondering, the only way that he'll be in high school DxD is one, he got transferred there. Second, he was reversed into a baby and wait. So back to what I was saying. I said I might make Goku either be born in this world or that. Now let's get into the backstory of Goku. Goku would press the button. Goku would defeat Morris. He's like, the world is starting to get boring. Morris was the only strongest person, and if Vegeta was here, he'd just defeat everybody. So where he presses the button to go to the Omni King. You see where the Omni King says, "Hello, Goku," and Goku says, "Can I please go to another world where I can benefit for the world?" And this is where he's like, the Omni King and the Grand Priest actually says, "I have a good world for you." And he says it's the world of devils and angels and etc. He says, "Okay, Grand Priest, what world am I going to?" This is where he says, "Well, you should go this." He says, "Just follow me." So where he said, where the Omni King touches Goku's forehead, and it turns Goku into an infant. And mind you, Goku's still gonna have all of his powers. The only thing that the Omni King's gonna do is gonna make Goku like be an infant and reborn. So where he's like, he's now crying. And this is where he's set into Issei's parents' womb, or cause yeah. This is where God notices and he says, "Oh my brother, I see what you're doing," because the Omni King, and this will be God's brother. He's like, "My brother, I see what you're doing. You're taking your world's strongest fighter, even though your fighters are not as strong as mine, not even compare as strong as yours, because the Omni King is God's little brother." And God, let's say, if Goku were to meet, he would be, you know, when Issei fights that guy with the golden armor, he would be above that. Just letting you know, he's really strong, even as an infant. But he's like, okay. So this is where he goes, and he's like, he puts her in the womb. God teleports all the way to Issei's world, not Issei's, the Omni King's world, and he says, "I see what you're doing." And so he says, "Big brother, big brother." He's like, even though that your fighters or your people will not even compare to the strength that your strongest fighter in your multiverse has, I want him to do something for me. He's like, "Big brother, what do you want him to do?" With a smiling face, he says, "I would like him to become the brother of Issei Hyodo." He's like, and this is where he says, "Who's Issei Hiyoto?" He's like, I said a prophecy for him. He would be the grabbing dragon. And this is where they're like, what? A grabbing dragon? What's a grabbing dragon? A molester. Not a molester, like a booby toucher. He's like, okay, brother. And he's like, well, be on your way. This is where Goku's like, is now putting Issei Hiyo's mom. And this is where we wait 9 months. And this is where Issei is like, this is where the thing happens when Issei is born. And this is where the doctor says, ma'am, you're having another baby. And let's say Goku's hair is still black. So it's going to be a black hair. Brown and brown makes black, let's say that. And he's like, this is where Goku doesn't come out with a tail this time. He comes out and he's not even crying. He's like, then this is where he moves and he's like, and then you could see him stretching. You could see him cocking his arm back and like this. And this is where he falls. And this is where he starts to sleep. And this is where the doctors are surprised. A kid doing that at that age is really surprising. But they don't take it into account. They don't really take it into something supernatural. They just go and that's it. So Goku's like, this is where Goku starts to grow up. And his mother and father notice his immense strength. And Goku has all his memories at this time. So he knows that if he would go Super Saiyan 1 or 2, it would probably destroy the pressure of this place. And he's like, I will not do that. I don't know what a person is. He's like, well, I guess I have to be careful. So where he's like, so he grows up the same way he's supposed to. And he knows about sex and stuff. Because, you know, my boy Goku is not that age anymore when he's naive. What's a kiss? He knows all that stuff. Because the Omni King provide him with knowledge because, you know, you have to have knowledge of all this stuff to be in, you know, DxD or high school. So Goku lives a normal life for the most part. And so he grows the same way. So in the college, he's typically the strongest one there. So he's part of the not the grabbing dragon. He's part of the perverted squad because his brother's in it. And he's like, you shouldn't even be in this club. You don't even like big boobs. And Goku cuts in, yeah, I like big boobs. And this is where he decides to be quiet because he knows he can't speak of his world. I like any type of boobs, he says. Stop lying, Goku. We know that you don't like grabbing them shits. He's like, how do I know you like grabbing them shits? He's like, but I ain't. He's like, yeah, shut up. Goku says, hey, your brother's mean. This is where he's like, well, you're gonna have to deal with that. This is where you're like, well, let's go. And this is where this is where, you know, that peak hole that everybody in the school knows Goku's not a perv. It's just that he's going along with his brother. This is where they at the same place where things are supposed to happen. And he's supposed to, get Issei is supposed to get hurt. I think he's supposed to get beaten up by his classmates because he's a big perv and all that. So that still happen. No, that doesn't happen because everybody just looks at Goku and they ask Goku. His mom did call him Goku just because he looks kind of weird. They say Goku. Did Issei look through this hole? He says no. The other perverts look through the hole. He just says with a smile. And this is where they meet. Everybody meets at the same spot, and this is where Goku's like, he could have got his ass beaten, right? And this is where they're like, yeah, but they smile, and then but you didn't allow him to get beaten. He could have saw some titties jiggle. They're like, that doesn't matter, you pervs. This is where Riaz sees Goku and Issei. And this is where Goku is like, that girl reminds me of Chi-Chi. Kind of. And this is where he's like, and this is where Issei and Goku are like kind of spacing out. And this is where they're like, oh, you guys like her. No way. She's out of you guys' lead. And this is where Goku says, who is that? This is where he says, that's Ria's Gremory. Part of the Gremory family. Her dad owns this school. That's where Goku's like, he's kind of like drooling. I know that's not Goku's character, but he can sense that she's strong, and Goku has a thing for strong maidens. And this is where he's like, so what are we doing? This is where the same thing happens. Issei gets a date, and he still gets the two girls actually asked Issei on a date, and Issei and Goku accept because Goku was not at first to accept. He's like, well, how do I know I can trust? Why would I like you? And it's like, but I really like you, and what if I don't? Into it. And this is where the girl's shocked. But please, this is where Goku's like, this is where Issei's like, we can go on a double date if you want. This is where Goku says, whatever, brother. I know that's not Goku's style, but Goku knows something's wrong. He's like, well, let's go, brother. Let's go eat, brother. I'm starving. He says, you're always starving. He's like, but it's not my fault that I'm hungry all the time. I don't even know where you get that hunger from. Not from mom or dad. Yeah, not my fault. So where he's like, well, I guess we should go to the store. He's like, well, we can, but what if we don't? And we go here. This is where a buffet, Why would we go there? He's like, I know why. Tomorrow, let's go on a double date, he says, smiling. This is where Naruto says, not Naruto, Goku says, well, are we gonna go there tomorrow? He's like, yeah, we're gonna go. Issei says with a defeated face. He's like, well, you wanted this, so you're gonna get it. And this is where they go home, they sleep. Issei's overly adjoyed, and he's like, well, I'm gonna go out with some girls. He's like, well, maybe we should go now. He's like, but we should go to the place. And this is where the same thing happens, where they get the same ticket. Goku doesn't know why. He just takes it, and they're on their way. This is where he just like, let's go, brother. And this is where they meet up, because they see that they're late. So Goku just waits, and the girls show up. And they say, so are we gonna go now? This is where they say, let's go. And this is where Goku's like, big brother. Yeah, Issei's big. I'm like, he's older, so he's like, big bro, where are we going? He's like, how about we go to aquarium, then we go get some food. He's like, well, I don't really care, let's just go. He's like, well, let's go then. So he's like, okay, onward. If you guys see that I'm not in the Goku like type voice, I'm sorry. It's just that I'm kind of not in the mood. And so, let's continue. So they have their fun day and all that, and then this is where they say, meet us at the back where we first. No, they go to the same place that they were going to in the original, and this is where they both run up to the fountain, and this is where they both say in sync, "Are you guys willing to die for us?" And this is where Goku says, "No." Issei says, "What did you just say? I think I misinterpreted you." And this is where Goku says, "They asked if you were willing to die for them. I said no." Depends. And this is where Issei says, like my little brother said, depends. You're not my wife. You're just a girl that this is my first date out with you. So I can't tell you if I would die for someone that I barely even know. This is where they say, well, I can't with you. You're gonna have to die for me. This is where Issei's, and this is where Goku's like, what did you say? And this is where the two girls turn into their falling angel form. And this is where Goku starts smiling. He says, so you guys wanna fight? And this is where the cards blow up behind them. This is where Riaz and Akuno show up. And this is where the same things happens, but instead of Riaz you know how reborning them, this is where the two fallen angels throw the light sword at them. And this is where Goku's like, catches both of them. He's like, well, you guys picked with the wrong guy. This is where Goku just like starts, because you know he used to be a staff wielder, and it's kind of like a staff. So Goku's like, well, let's do this. He starts waving both of them at the same time, because Goku's that OP. And he's like, and this is where Issei's like, not Issei, this is where Goku just throws it to Issei. Issei starts going, like, hopping it, like, it's kind of burning his hand, and this is where Goku fully on throws it back. He's like, you messed with me and my family, and I would not let that happen again. Because you know how Zamasu did that to Chi-Chi? He, like, killed her and Goten. If you watch the Goku Black movie, this is where he's like, I guess we have to deal with you. And this is where Akuno and Riaz are shocked. They's like, this guy is competing with a falling angel, and he's not even that strong. And this is where Issei's like, you go get him, Goku. He says, because he knows how Goku be doing things, because he's seen Goku fight, and he knows how strong Goku is. And this is where Goku instant transmissions to the two girls, grab them by their neck, like, they fall unconscious on the ground. And this is where he's like, they were like, you messed with me. Don't act surprised when now you're gone. You're on the floor begging for mercy. Like, you messed with my family. Because him being in high school, DxD altered his mind. So you're not going to see the normal Goku, like, give me a good fight and all that. He's still going to be battle hungry. It's just that he's going to do it in a different way. So he's like, let's fight again. It's where he looks behind him and says, Riazin. He sees some big titty chick. He's like, Issei, are these your friend? This is where they're like, I don't even know who that is, he says. And this is where Issei, and this is where he's like, isn't that Ria's Grammary? Right now they're out the magic circle, and this is where he's like, well, this is awkward. This is where they're like, this is where he's like, so, I'm guessing you guys came at a later date. And this is where their mouths is literally open. They're like, what? And this is where Ria says, speaks to Akano in her mind. I guess we can't kill him and try to force him, but we can kill Issei. This is where Goku's like, kill us. This is where, I know if this is not how you guys wanted the video, but let me continue. So where Goku's like, so I'm just gonna go home. Issei, let's go. And he says, well, if you guys came here for me fighting those two, I don't think they gonna make it. So I suggest you get them to a doctor. He says, well, this is where Riaz and Akano are like astounded, and this is where he grabs Issei, and this is where he enters transmissions. And this is where Issei and Goku fall asleep, because Goku has that sleeping on him, and usually he would sense people coming into his bed, but in this he didn't. He's like, Issei just fell asleep because he had to deal with it 1,000 times. So he's like, well, I don't really care anymore. I'm just gonna sleep because it's gonna hurt my head anyway. And this is where he falls asleep. And this is where Akano and Riaz are found naked in his bed. This is where Goku, out of pure instinct, roll over onto Akano. He's like, nice teddy bear. And Akano is not fully asleep right now. She's like, oh my god, what is he doing? In a flustered way. This is where he's like, and this is where he's like, I guess, what do you have? And this is where Goku is not feeling something very soft and jiggly. He starts, let's say, grabbing Akano in his sleep because he's having a dream about him eating food. So he starts grabbing on Akano's boobies, starts squeezing them, making Akano moan. And Issei is like, I guess he's having one of those dreams. Oh my god, he's a fucking perv. And he goes back to sleep. He's like awake for a quick second and then goes back. He's like, well. And this is where they wake up. And Goku, and this is where Akano fell asleep being pleasured, if you know what I mean. This is where she's like, This is where Goku wakes up to the sight of booby cleavage in his face, and this is where he starts rubbing his head, kind of like, cause he thinks it's a pillow. He's like, and this is where Akino wakes up again, and then Riaz was up the whole time, and she's like, I wish I took him, cause she actually wanted to get on the fun, but she had to stay with Issei. Let's say they killed Issei in his sleep, turned him into a demon, and they didn't reborn Issei, but they just turned him into a devil because of some stupid contract. And this is where he's like, Issei, this is where Goku's like, oh, big boobies. What else do I have to wake up to? And this is where Issei's like, and Issei just wakes up to Riaz's big boobies in his face, and this is where he gets a boner. And this is where he accidentally pushes Goku into Akino's boobies even more. And Riaz is just like, I'm missing up in her mind. And this is where he says, sorry, Goku, because I know this is weird that Goku and Issei are sleeping in the same bed, but they only have one bedroom, and Goku can't really sleep on the floor. Or, if you catch my drift. Or they were in separate beds. Forget pushing him off. He falls off the bed. And so does Goku. And this is where he's like, Issei, who are these strange people on my bed? And why are they half naked? Goku's starting to get an erection, if that's how you say it. This is where Akino and Riaz see his massive boner. And this is where Akino looks at Riaz, and she just does that stink eye face where you pull one of your eye bags and spit your tongue out, and she says, I claimed him. And this is where Goku's like, you claimed who? And this is where they say nothing. So Goku is like, so why are you two people in my bed? And this is where they're like, good question. Why are we in your bed? See, and they start explaining this devil and demon stuff. Goku understands because the reason why the Omni King and God told him, the Omni King and the High Priest told him, and he's like, well, I guess that's accurate. And this is where he's like, well, so am I going to school now? This is where he's like, I guess yes. This is where Goku's like, we're going to school. This is where Goku starts to get dressed. This is where he has nothing but his boxers on, and Riaz and Akino starts blushing to see how massive Goku's erection is. Or should I say? I shouldn't say it. Yep, keep it. I know this is a high school DxD, but just keep it to myself and don't corrupt the kids on the internet. And this is where he's like, well, let's get going. This is where Issei just looks. He's like, and this is where he looks back at his. This is where he's like, sort of this like, has this frown on his face. He's like, his is that big, but mine's is not. What family did he come from? Who is this guy? He's an alien. This is where Goku's like, Issei, let's get dressed. And this is where Goku gets into his uniform. It's kind of like, never mind. And this is where Goku is like, And this is where he allows the girls. Issei goes out the room just for them to get dressed, but he actually stays in. He's like, "Well, what are you waiting for? Get dressed." And this is where he says, "You mind getting out? Don't flatter yourself, because you know how his mind was altered. He's not really that happy-go-lucky. He's still that happy-go-lucky. It's just that in a different way." So where he's like, "So," and this is where they get dressed in an awkward blush, and Akano's like, "I claimed him. He is mine. You are not touching him." This Ria's like, and this is where you can have the Red Dragon Emperor. I'll have him. Don't care about what you say, best friends or not. This is where they start walking to the school. And this is where Riaz is walking with Issei, like that anime pose. Let's say that she's regretting choosing Issei and not going for Akano, because you know what Riaz did? She's like, "I call dibs on the Red Dragon Emperor, but I want the Red Dragon Emperor." And then she's like, "Nope, you're having Goku." Because Goku doesn't have a sacred gear. This is where Goku's walking along with Akano. And this is where all the girls are acknowledging that Goku is walking with some people with cool status. But Issei? And so where they're like, Issei's the one that Goku's the probably one that probably told Riaz to go stand with him. Them gawking at Issei. Gagging, I mean. And so where they're like, is he trying to be cool? And this is where everybody can see one thing of unhappiness from Riaz. And this is where all the girls sigh. They know that Riaz is just only doing this for Goku's sake. And this is where they sigh in relief. And Goku's like, let's go. And this is where I'm going to end the video off. I'm just going to play this last game for all of you, because I'm not that type of jerk. Tryhard mode activated. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just playing the game for all of you. Don't ask me why. I just wanted to please you guys. Wow. Bye, guys.